Fundraising. We've talked about mobilization. We've talked about planning. We've talked about financial planning. We've talked about financial management. But what are we planning if we don't have funds? What are we planning if there's no money? So it's important for us to actually also put ourselves out there to be able to raise the funds needed. Well, you might have heard me say we don't need to pay for everything, but also you need to also know that there are some things you cannot escape paying for. You cannot escape paying for food if you're having an event. You cannot escape paying for, transportation if you're trying to get people to come for your event and all of that stuff. So there are some certain things you need to pay for. While I've said that you don't need to pay for everything, right? But then I also need to let you know that every plan that we have, every strategy that we have put into place, it's not going to amount to anything if we are not able to fundraise, if we are not able to raise money, if we are not able to raise physical cash, right, for the success of your project, of the success for your organization, of the success of your civic enterprise. You need funds. Now, what is fundraising? As it sounds, it's very simple. These are acts of raising money either by donations or trading. And as a social entrepreneur, we don't have anything to sell most of the time, and we need to render services. So we get money from donors. And you hear me say, while I was talking about planning, I talked about identifying our donors. I talked about understanding the objective of our donors. I talked about getting to put ourselves in a place where donors are able to identify the work we do, and we also are able to, establish what they are trying to achieve in the immediate environment we find ourselves. While organizations compete for this, scarce resource, you must have a unique selling point. As a business, you have a unique selling point. When you're doing a business, you have a business plan. When you're having a civic tech, enterprise, you also have a unique selling point. When you're seeking for justice for people, are you using technology? What method are you using to get people out of prison? That might be your unique selling point. For a community mobilizer, what's your unique selling point? Are you able to get youth in the community? Are you able to, train the trainers? Are you able to cascade your learning to as much people as possible? Every one of us need to look inwards to understand what their unique selling point is. And this is because we have thousands of people competing for the scarce resources that donors have, right? And you need to be able to create a niche for yourself. And when I say create a niche for yourself, that helps you to focus as well, because don't forget, there are some civil society organizations that just believe they can do anything because of money. No, you should be able to understand what you are capable of doing and have a well-structured way of achieving those things that you have set yourself to do. And that is why your organization needs a plan. You need a mission. You need a vision. Everybody needs to see you from the lens of those mission and those vision that you have set for yourself. Now, putting your feet out there as a unique organization helps you to fundraise, helps you to get the fund you need, helps you to access the resources you need. In fact, there are some grants that are very, very specified to a particular sector. So you need to understand the sector you want to help. You need to understand the sector, which gap you're trying to bridge for you to be able to get the kind of funding that you want. Now, you would ask me, how then do I fundraise? There are different methods, and for a social enterprise, I've mentioned a lot about donor funding. We can't do without donor funding, technically, right? As much as we would want to do without them, we still need their help to get our feet up and running. And when I say up and running, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are not able to mobilize resources from friends and family, even for you to prove your thesis to start with. But then you are able to prove your thesis with those kind of funds. But to take it to the next level, you might need donor funds to come in. Now, what are the popular methods? which people fundraise, businesses, social enterprise, and even giants in the industry. And when I say industry, I mean the civic tech space, right? How do they fundraise? Gala night, crowdfunding, promissory note, social clubs, proposals. The list is endless, but you need to understand that you can't possibly expand your time on every method. You need to understand your area of strength, where maybe you're good at proposal writing. You are able to submit very good proposals. You are able to mobilize people through a social club. All of these things, you need to understand your area of strength, because this is what helps you to speak to the right people that will give you the right funds that you need to establish what you're trying to do. Now, you would agree with me that if we are not able to raise funds, then the work that we are trying to do is affected. So it's important to note that fundraising is the soul of our business, because in a normal business environment, they will tell you making profit is why you started that organization. But don't forget, as a civic tech leader, as a community mobilizer, as a social entrepreneur, your own reason why you started that organization is to see change happen in your immediate environment. So that is what you're selling. That is your selling point. And why you need to also understand that you need to understand that sometimes donor money might not come all the time. Then you need to wear your innovation cap. What do we need to do as an organization to make money? Because you don't want to lay people off. You also don't want to have so much dead weight for your organization, right? Then you need to wear a thinking cap and innovate ways which your organization can make money. You can sell courses like this if you train. You can get your courses into business schools. You can get training opportunities as a tech leader, as a civic tech leader as well. So all of these ways are very important for you to maintain, how the organization is being structured. And like I said, all of our plans will really not achieve anything if we are not able to eventually fundraise.